We hadn't the faintest idea, not merely what people, but from what country the Conservative Party got their money from in their 18 years of government.
Beckham could raise the roof here with a goal.
People would say, we don't know what impact investment really is. Today, it's defined as any investment which involves clear objectives to deliver both a social, including environmental, and a financial return, and whose achievement is measured.
So we have as many breeds as we can. So she's about 40.
Really?
Yeah. None of say lives at our donkey's age. That's it.
Didn't know.
Yeah. 2.5 live long. Hi, my name's Phil Nibb. I'm Chief Executive of Old Valley and also Neighbourhood Services Company. Old Valley Community Trust was started basically in 1983, but in the form it's in now, it was around about 2000. Over the last 20 years, we've got into delivering library services, sports, taking over gyms, libraries, doing a lot of work in the community in terms of working with older people and younger people, and generally responding to community needs. We've developed from a small gardening project to a building maintenance company. We've got 2 farms, this being one of them. We've also got 3 shopping parades and nurseries and other facilities which we've got in and around the community. Everything adds to creating employment and training opportunities, and altogether at the moment we employ between 140 and 150 people. We first contacted what is now SIB with the Adventure Capital Fund. When that was first established, around about 2004, and we applied for a loan for our first venture, which was to become the community university, our main education base. We got a £200,000 loan. £100,000 was paid on social returns and £100,000 at 1% over 10 years. But that enabled us basically to apply for European funding, use that as match funding and do the community university out to a good standard to develop our education centre. From then on, as we've developed over time, we've had a number of loans from future builders, community builders, all under SIB now. So we built a relationship up with them over time, which has been really useful because they've known the organisation from day one.
I was there right at the beginning. 6 of us spent 24 hours in a hotel in Euston thinking about what we meant by patient capital. And the Home Office had got their hands on some major criminals' assets during the year, and David Blunkett wanted it spent before it would have to go back to the Treasury in March. So in December, whenever it was, the year, we went to David Blunkett with these propositions to set up an experimental fund to explore patient capital for the social enterprise sector.
I think SIB has an interesting and unusual place in the social investment sector. On the one hand, we're a social investor, an intermediary, that's our roots, that's where we started. But we also do grant making and do support, and we're trying to strengthen the infrastructure of social investment as well. We host the Diversity Forum, the Social Investment Forum, and other aspects that help hopefully the whole landscape be more effective in the way it operates. So really that combination of capabilities and work that we do helps make us and carve us out a particular niche as we work in partnership with a whole range of other organisations in the field.
It's still as light a touch as it was. I mean, this place is a perfect example because we had £200,000 grant from Power to Change, which was managed by a different organisation initially, which was really difficult because he didn't have a clue about who we were or what we did. And that got handed over to social investment business a few years ago. Now, because of COVID, it was crucial. It happened that way. I don't think we'd have had after work we got in. But because it was with the social investment business, because we had to change what we were going to do with the loans, and we've done that 3 times, over the last 2 years, then it's got through, been approved, been agreed, and we've been able to get the work done. And basically, they've trusted us to deliver.
I'm the chair of the board of Social Investment Business and have been for the last 6 years. It's a role I thoroughly enjoy most of the time, and I'm just proud and delighted to be able to make a difference. My goodness me, there's been an awful lot of changes in our organisation, in the colleagues who work with us, in the way that we do our business as well. I think now that we're much more confident. We're never arrogant, but we're much more confident about what we do. We're sure of our place within the social investment world. I think that we've got colleagues with really great skills and insight, and you know, I'm not one to boast, but I actually think that we are probably performing in the best way that I've known in all the time I've been associated with SIB.
My name is Michelle Charters. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Cumbermarnie Millennium Centre. The Cumbermarnie Millennium Centre came out of the work and the drive of the Liverpool Black Sisters, who were a group that were formed in 1979 to address the racism and discrimination in the city around both the economy and the academic lack of inclusion for black people. It's a multicultural, multi-purpose centre in the heart of the community that also offers so many opportunities, not only through our own services, but by our tenants we've got 5 tenants who work with the most marginalised groups. So people who suffer domestic violence, to the disabled, to mental health. This is a real support system in one building. Yes, I inherited SIB. And it wasn't SIB at the time, it was a venture capital fund, which then amalgamated into social investment business. It was a bit hard at the beginning because we realised that we had this loan, we didn't know, and we sure as hell didn't benefit from it at the very beginning, but we have benefited over the last 17 years. That learning process between the two organisations, or the institution and the organisation, has been really critical for our progression as a board and a management. Dealing with all the inherited issues, it's been really good to have a partner, and I do class them as a partner in terms of really getting us to understand what had been signed up and how we had to address that. The honesty, the truthfulness and the transparency has really, really helped this local black-led organisation, coming from the legacy of important work of the Liverpool Black Sisters, to start to drive a real measure of success, social impact, and more importantly, progression for all of the diverse communities in Liverpool.
Using the Cumber has been very impactful because I've become disillusioned a bit with the community activism that I was doing, because it is very challenging and difficult and draining. And what the Cumber did is it wrapped its arms around me and ensured that I was able to continue and have, you know, a strong level of support, particularly from Michelle, as well as her staff members.
For those that know me, they just know I absolutely love my work. I really don't see it as work, it's a part of me, and I feel like I'm just in a space and a place that really supports me in doing what I love. Sometimes you think you know something about the place where you are, the space where you live, and that's not the case, because everyone's individual. There are so many similarities but so many differences that we've been able to work with, learn with and nurture, and that has just been the most strengthening thing of my, part of my journey in working in Liverpool 8.
The benefits I've seen Cumbermarnie bring to this community have been immeasurable. I mean, there's so many projects which take place here. I've seen so many people grow through their involvement and exposure to the projects which take place. So I've seen education projects, so young people who were struggling with GCSEs. I mentioned the Conversation Cafe, where people who've come from asylum-seeking backgrounds who felt isolated have come here, and they've actually been able to improve their English to such an extent that they're able to hold conversations now. They're able to mix with the community.
So I grew up around the corner from here, about 2 minutes away. And as a kid, I'd always walk down this particular road, and opposite is St. Margaret's Church, which is the primary school that I went to. And so Cumber for me has just been that building that's been around in my lifetime. But during that time as a kid, I didn't really know much about the history of Cumber and what Cumber stood for and what it did, up until I started volunteering here, which was about 3 years ago.
The benefits for me using Cumber is we get a lot of the elderly out of the house to come and enjoy the therapy. They're made welcome, and I know for the older members, they've passed the building but not known what was going on there. Now they know, and they feel part of the Cumber family.
The one thing that I'm really impressed with SIB about is the way that they have learned. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm the expert, but our particular issues were specific to us. They learned about cultural understanding and cultural etiquette, and I would say over the years, and especially when SIB took over, there seemed to be a lot more support. We got specialist support. They invested in consultants who came and physically worked with us.
What we're really interested in is finding great social entrepreneurs who can make a difference in some of the toughest places across our country, and they're not afraid of challenge. They're not afraid to do something new and exciting. And you know, when you find social entrepreneurs like that, you really want to back them 100%.
So welcome to Gloucester Services. I'm Mark Gale. I'm the Chief Executive of Gloucestershire Gateway Trust. So here at Gloucester Services, the business has been set up with a social purpose. It was local residents who came up with the idea as a way to generate good quality local jobs and an income for their community partners. And that's played an important role ever since it's opened. And we as a charity and a shareholder receive between 2 and 3p in the pound from everything sold on site except petrol. Hundreds of thousands, in fact over £1 million so far since we started investing in 2017. And so as we went through 2020, we were trying to find a way to make sure that the brilliant work that our community partners were doing and we were funding could carry on, because we weren't getting our expected income from the business. It really was an unanticipated challenge. But when we started to talk to SIB, we found a real friend who understood that we had a sustainable business, but that we really needed support now to help in this exceptional period. It was absolutely fundamental to our purpose as a charity that we were able to support our partners during COVID. And so the SIB support enabled us to carry on doing that, along with the support of some of our other social investors. So one of the important things for Gloucestershire Gateway Trust being involved in a great business like Gloucester Services and helping to create it is that communities shouldn't be afraid of scale. And that's where organisations like SIB come in. They can help communities and they have belief in social enterprise. And so they are a friend who we can talk to about investment and future plans. And we certainly plan to do that, because there are great steps forwards that we have in mind for both within our communities and externally.
You know, in terms of where we are now, well, that couldn't have happened without the support of SIB. We've come out stronger than ever. So again, our relationship at SIB has been crucial to the development of the organisation. Maybe you can detect a change in what they're doing. It's becoming more business-like, and maybe more risk-averse because of that. But personally, with our organisations, we haven't experienced that.
My view for the future, my dream for the future is that realistically I don't have the loan. Would be fabulous, but I would like to continue the relationship even if I didn't. So even when the building's loan free, I would love to be able to still tap into what SIB offers.
Well, I would like to see it renamed the Venture Capital Fund, and to continue to experiment and to test the limits of impactful investment. Never more needed than now. I mean, I reflect that when SIB started, it was against the background of turbocharged city capitalism. We were slicing and dicing risk and inventing endless complex derivatives. We really need to start using money properly for purpose, and that's nationally, locally and globally, without which I don't think we have a chance. And so that's why SIB is such an important experimenter with investing. Investing is a really important word, but investing for impact.
I expect moving forward to continue with the support from SIB and continue to work with SIB. Maybe not just with them, but I know they've sort of signposted us in the past, like Christian will often ring up and say, have you seen this funding that's available? This might be useful for you for whatever we're doing. So I think that relationship I hope will continue as we move through.
So I'm really ambitious for SIB in the next few years, next 3, 5, 10 years. I think we've got a huge amount of opportunity with the data capability we have and expertise, the great track record of grants and investment work that we've done. Now it feels like we're in a position to really grow our work, grow our impact, maximise the difference we can make, not just directly in what we deliver, but also in who we influence and the amount of money and work and activity we can leverage as well. There's obviously significant need at the moment in all sorts of different ways, whether that's climate or equity or health inequality or the pure economics of different geographies, and we want to be right at the heart of that, delivering and trying to make the change that's needed.